All right, Eric, we've come down here near the heart of the corridor. We are right under the, what is this, the Southport stop?
Southport Brown Line, of course the renovated Southport Brown Line stop. And just an aside, they did such a nice job on these, the Brown Lines. It really feels like a world-class city now. I've said that over and over. I used to ride these L's. The stations were so rickety and ridiculous, but now you walk in, you feel like you're in a major European city or a world-class city. So Roscoe is no different. And when you step out here, it's people feel the action right away. I mean, it's lined with boutiques, bars, family-friendly joints. You name it, you got it here. Any amenity you want, from your dry cleaners, car washes, they're all within a 4-block radius. So living on Southport might be a little busy, but it's fun for condo owners. But the housing just to the east or just to the west, single-family homes are very desirable and sell top dollar. We can maybe talk a little bit about that as far as schools go and that sort of thing. Of course, transportation is always real popular. You're usually going to find your industry around the L stops. But you also have a situation here. We have a few good schools you can attend. If you're a little bit north of us, you're going to go to Blaine School, which is one of the top-rated elementary schools in the city, and that is an attendance boundary school. If you're a little bit east of us, you're going to go to Nettlehurst, and Nettlehurst is also very progressive, really cool school. They've done some neat things, and that's down by Broadway and Melrose area. If you're a little bit south of us, you might go to Alexander Hamilton, which is also doing really well, or Burley, which is a kind of a buzz school now.
Right.
And there's also a magnet school in the middle of it all, just to the east of us, which is Hawthorne. And Hawthorne has a wonderful facility. They've done a lot of renovation to the track and to the playground there, but the school itself is excellent. Now it's a magnet school. You have to test in basically and pick the school as one of your top picks and try to get in. But the way they do the school attendance now, they give heavy weight to the neighborhood kids. So if you live in the neighborhood and want to go to Hawthorne, you'll be weighted heavier and you can get in. Otherwise, you're going to go to Nettlehurst where we're standing. But if you can move a little north of Addison, you can go to Blaine, and again a little south of Manhattan. When you're talking about Southport corridor, you're pretty much looking at Irving at the very furthest north, which is 3900, and you start at Belmont, which is 3200 north. So that's your 7-block stretch. Anywhere east or west of there, you're in good shape. But again, it depends on the school you fall in. Once you get south of Belmont, you're out of the Blaine district, and you might go to Hawthorne, which is the magnet school. You might go to Nettlehurst, which is farther east a little bit, or even Alexander Hamilton or Burley as you get south. So those are the distinctions I think homeowners need to check out. Otherwise, farther north in Southport corridor, you're closer to Wrigley, so you're going to deal with a little more of that. So you might want to get a little farther south. So north, you're in Blaine, the top school district, but you might deal with more Wrigleyville stuff. South, you gotta maybe do the school shuffle a little bit, but it gets actually a little quieter, to be honest.
And
so if you go 2 blocks, 3 blocks east or west of Southport, it's predominantly single-family home and 2 flats. There's not a whole lot of condo buildings, or multi-unit condo buildings. It's more like a 3-flat type of building. So it's very residential in that nature. You're going to see your bigger multi-units on Racine as you go a little east of us, and of course up to Clark. But mostly it's when you turn down one of these streets, it's very leafy, very residential. You're not seeing the large multi-unit buildings over here that you might see in East Lake View, so that's kind of attractive.
Just for people who maybe aren't down here at night, Southport itself does get pretty busy.
Yeah, sure.
There is a lot of traffic here. One of the things I was also noticing as we were driving around is in certain areas, we are obviously close enough to Wrigley that you have to deal with things like night parking for Cubs games, things like that. So you're in the vicinity.
Yeah, it's always a presence, and of course it's a plus and minus situation. It's a love-hate relationship with some neighbors. However, it's well known now. I mean, if you're going to get into the area, that certain streets are well traveled for Cub traffic. Certain streets aren't. You know, you'll get certain one-way streets over here. Like Clifton breaks up one way in 2 different directions, and Kenmore, just east of us, will break up and one way off of Roscoe. That's one way. So if you want to think about that when we're buying houses, like, is this going to deal with a thoroughway for Cubs traffic, or am I going to be pretty much isolated? I've sold a place at 3328 Kenmore, okay? It's one way going into one way Roscoe. It's very close to the whole Sheffield, Clark, area and intersection. However, it was on a Cub game, I've sat there in an open house and it's very quiet. So it's very close, but it's very quiet. You can be a block over on that Roscoe strip and you're going to get the east-west traffic like crazy. So.